Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic, interview tips for 2025. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. With me back today is the sensational Senior Director of Human Resources here at Jewish Family Service, Ashley Leonard. See, I nailed the intro this week.
You got it.
Last week, not so much. But I got it this week. So, 2025, interview tips. You know, Ashley, I always say, job search is hard. I say this all the time, that job search is hard. And you need to be prepared in doing things. And trends are going to change from year to year, and that includes interviewing tips as well. Again, full transparency, and I tell you guys this all the time, AI did this. And what it came up with was, here are the top interview tips for 2025 job market, reflecting current trends in hiring, technology, and employer expectations. Mm-hmm. So we are, in fact, live. There are people watching, and I did hear us on the microphone. So everything is working correctly, technically, and I love that. I think the first thing, as far as interviewing goes, it's important to do your research with the company, right?
Right.
In fact, yes, go look at the website, go look at the mission statement, but I think it's also important too to look to see, have the people or the company, has it been in the news lately? You can go to Google, pull up your Google, type in the name of the company, and I think it's the second or third tab is news. Click it and see if they've been in the news lately. Use that knowledge to make sure that you let them know that you've done your research.
That's a great tip, and that, and also who you would be working for. If sometimes it's pretty clear who your role will report to, and sometimes it's not as clear. But if you do happen to know who you would be reporting to, it doesn't hurt to do a quick Google search on that person too, and kind of see what comes up, because you just never know. And so you want to know who I'm going to be spending a lot of time, probably more time than I spend with my family, with this person as my manager. So I want to know about them, and that makes it really great when you're preparing your questions for the interview. So doing all that research in advance, it's great preparation.
So for sure, you want to look up whoever the recruiter is. The first point of contact is probably going to be the recruiter. Definitely look them up on LinkedIn. See if they have any, if there's any commonalities there. If not, okay, but can you come up with some kind of question to ask to let them know that you've done your research? That's the other thing too, is you can always ask, right? And they may or may not tell you. If you're going to go to the next round and they tell you, hey, you know what? I am going to recommend that you go to the next round. Ask them, okay, who is the hiring manager? I wanted to make sure I do my research and figure that out. Who is that going to be, so I can look them up on LinkedIn? You can just go ahead now. And if they don't want to tell you, okay, but
it doesn't hurt.
But also too, you could probably do a little bit of that research yourself also, right?
Right.
If you were in accounting and you know the name of the company because you applied for the job, you could go to LinkedIn and try to find an accounting manager that works there that's local where you are going to be.
Or to your point in the beginning, going on the website, the company's website, super helpful, because more than likely, more times than not, there's going to be some sort of organizational chart. And so that's a great starting place. If you're an accountant, then at minimum they're going to have the CFO or whoever manages finance at the top on their page. Start there. They may not have the full breakdown of whatever their organizational chart is, but you'll have a good starting place. From there, maybe go on LinkedIn and see, okay, now who is familiar with this person who's familiar, who do they recommend that you also research? Because LinkedIn's great about that. And you'll probably stumble upon the people at the board.
That's a great point, is to try to check that stuff out on the website. If you go to our website, you can see my smiling face right there.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I can find Jill. So
Jill's on there. That's right. That's right. Real quick, because the chat's kind of moving real fast. Good morning, Yolanda Chin. Hey, Robin. Robin works here at JFS. She's in our intake department. She's doing intake. So, and also I see Mr. Sean Sweden, who I used to work with at the workforce, and Sean is going to be on a guest host in September coming up. So, okay. Sean, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, buddy. You can look at like other sites too when you're doing your research. Glassdoor can be helpful. Glassdoor, though, I always tell everybody like use it with a grain of salt, right? Because because for the most part, it's pay to play. If you want to leave a comment on Glassdoor, oftentimes too, people are going to leave more negative comments than they are positive. Because it's easy to like, oh, they did me wrong, and I'm going to burn them down. Then it is, and also too, I've worked at companies before where we've had department. I was like an on-site manager, and they had department meetings. Like, guys, getting a lot of negativity on Glassdoor. So if you can have your employees go post nice things about us, that would be helpful, right? So it's kind of a like you got to weigh it out.
Yeah. Glassdoor is an interesting one. So as a user, it's helpful because sometimes it'll give you a range of like, okay, this is how much they're paying. Like on average, this is how much they pay at this company. This is what kind of benefits they offer. So it does give some generic information. So as a job searcher, when I'm looking at those things, it's like, okay, this is great, or this is something that maybe isn't so great. So like you say, you take with a grain of salt. But as an employer, what's interesting is that if you want to get any information from Glassdoor, you have to give. Yep. So it's that pay to play. So I have to give Glassdoor some of the information about my organization in order for me to collect information. So that's interesting too. Yeah.
So just real quick, Sean said if you have LinkedIn Premium accounts, you can check for networking. Commonalities, 100%. And Rhonda Robinson is out there watching. Thanks, Rhonda. She said, also, if you find out about them, you can just say, I see you used to be at ABC, how cool. Or if they're passionate about something, mention that. This would be something a little more personal, I think nice. Also, too, it's a good idea. Yes, Rhonda, thank you for that comment. And as well, Sean, I appreciate the comment. You always want to preface it, though, with, hey, full disclosure, in preparing for this interview, I did look you up on LinkedIn, and I saw whatever.
Yeah, for sure, because if it's public information, so it's okay to bring that to light. It makes it for a more interesting conversation, because I think one thing that is important to remember is you're interviewing that person just like they're interviewing you.
Yeah.
Right? You're wanting to see if it's a mutual fit. You're not... our goal and hope is that, we won't take the first job that's offered to us just because we're looking, but that we're finding something that's going to be equally as beneficial to us that aligns with our goals and values.
100%. Right? I think so that is a trend for sure. Yes, I know sometimes you just need cash flow.
Right.
And I just read this today on LinkedIn earlier. As hiring manager was talking about, hey, here are reasons why the candidate may not have accepted your offer, even though you made the offer. It's not just it is for sure still an employer's market. There is way too much talent in the market and a lot less jobs, but the job seekers that are looking, they're looking for the right fit. And they're willing to make sure that they are holding out a little bit longer to make sure they're getting in the right fit.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand too how AI works in the job search. And over the past couple of years, artificial intelligence has gotten a huge push, but it's not at all new. Like AI has been around since 1953.
Oh, nice! I didn't realize that.
Go look it up. Go Google that. It's I forgot the name of it. Some guy wrote something about machine learning, blah 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 is the title of it. But it has been around since '53. People talk about the applicant tracking software, right? ATS. Every ATS, every single one, has some form of AI in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. A lot of people don't understand quite how it works. So I'm going to break it down real quick. what happens is the hiring manager, recruiter, whomever, HR, is going to put the job posting into the software, right? Then what happens is the software is going to scan the job posting, and then it creates what it thinks is going to be a ideal candidate, right? You go and upload your resume into the system. Software then scans your resume, and then it's going to parse it and put it into fields where it thinks things are supposed to go. Do keywords play a good part of that? Yes, it does. Because if you don't have the right keywords and it's trying to come up with if it's matching what you say, that determines whether or not you go to the top of the pile. But the reality is the software is designed to block 97% of applicants.
I didn't know that. That's a big percentage.
That's a huge percentage. And that doesn't even include, that includes, of course, the people that, aren't even qualified for the position. Like you get people like, well, I could do your job. I could be the senior director of HR. Even though I've been an executive admin for my entire career, I can do your job. No, you can't. Those people get blocked. Plus everything else. So understanding how it works and making sure that you have even like the right keywords and to give yourself that edge and getting pushed up to the top and maybe seen by a human.
Yeah, I think that's really good when you're applying. Then I think the rubber meets the road when you get the interview, right? Because at that point, that's when it's like, okay, your resume made it through our filtering system, our AI filtering system. You made it into my lab. Now, what are you going to do at the moment, right? And so I think that I love that it mentioned video interview platforms as another type of like AI tool. Video interviews, like they used to scare me, but actually they're pretty fantastic. There's one in particular called Spark Hire. And anytime I've had to go through a job interview, process where the video interview is part of it, I love it when I see Spark Hire get excited because it allows you to actually practice, like leaving your responses so many times before you actually have to submit it, which is fantastic. So it gives you time to really be thoughtful about your answers, practice saying it a few times, hitting record, but then not having to submit it until you really feel ready. Okay. So I love that. So that's another. So when it mentioned AI screening, I'm like, that's very good. I would be curious to know if there is any type of filtering system when it comes to video interviews, like how you mentioned the keywords, you can scan that from text. But I wonder if there's anything like that exists with video interviews, or is the hiring manager or recruiter really watching all of those videos? It'd be interesting to research.
The answer is yes, they do, but also a lot of those things get screened out too.
That's done to see how that's done. Yeah.
Also, too, great segue into what would be the commercial. Because, guys, if you didn't know, now you're gonna know. We have a virtual interview practice program here at Jewish Family Service. We call it VIP Squared. What will happen, and we do it every Tuesday at 1 Central. What happens is you log on, and I'm going to put you and the interviewer into a breakout room. They will interview you for 30 minutes. Then there will be 15 minutes of feedback, and then you're done. You can log out for the day. At the end of the week, the interviewer will send me a feedback form, which I will then forward back on to you, and you will get that. And so at the end of the week, you'll have something in your hand, tangible, that you might want to look at, and things that you might want to practice and improve upon. Currently have 7 people on the team. That is potentially 7 different interviewers and interviewing styles that you can practice with. How do we get there? That sounds awesome, Jason. I want to do that. Great. Send me an email. My email is jhopper, the letter J, HOPPER, at jfsdallas.org. jhopper@jfsdallas.org. Put practice interview in the subject line. I'm going to need your resume and a job title that you want to interview for, and we will do that. I'm full up for today, but if you want to do it and get on the list for an upcoming one, let me know. Email me. It's Tuesdays, 1 o'clock Central. Get on the list. The one misstep I see every single time that job hunters make is they do not put enough practice into interviewing. So
yeah, it's a skill. You can definitely build it up.
Interviewing is for sure a skill. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So get into the practice interview program, guys. You won't. In fact, 2 weeks ago, somebody did the practice interview, and she just emailed me and said that she had the real interview and just accepted an offer.
That's fantastic.
It works.
Yay!
It works. I think it's important that you make sure that you are telling the right story, your story, right?
Yep.
The people that interview the best are the people that tell the best stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And if you are able to, as you're telling the story, either come up with the thing that is relatable or the thing that is going to evoke emotion is going to be the thing that's going to get you remembered. And this is what I help my clients is coming up with, as they're telling those stories, coming up with the things that will be have in common with the hiring manager and or that has that emotion bit. Because I seriously believe, and this is 100% true when you think about it, because like the recruiter, the hiring manager, they're going to talk to different people. They're not going to remember everything that you said.
Right.
In fact, one of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, who said, people won't remember the things you say, they'll remember how you made them feel. And if you can make them feel, now you're winning, because that's what they're going to remember. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Like I had a client I was working with her on her stories, and she was a printer. That's what she did. And apparently, for whatever reason, she was the only one at work that day, and the line was stacking up. And the lady up front was getting upset. And so we're doing the story. I'm like, stop. She said, what? I was like, this is what I want you to put in the story, right? And so then she started telling a story, and I had her add this. I don't know if you've ever stood in a line before. Everybody has stood in a line before. I don't care how old you are. At some point in your life, you stood in a line, and nobody likes it. But it's the thing that's relatable. The other thing I had her add too, because she was thinking she was getting more and more angry. I said, okay, put this in there. And so then she's telling the stories like, I don't know if you've ever stood in line before, but she was getting mad. In fact, she was getting so angry. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen somebody so mad that steam comes out of their ears. We've all seen that cartoon.
We've all seen it.
And so it's the thing that's relatable.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you start painting the picture in the story.
Right.
That's what the hiring managers and the recruiters remember more than anything else.
That's very good. Yeah, that's a very good tip.
Right?
Yeah.
Skills
Mm-hmm.
and skills-based hiring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Employers are hiring a lot more today for skill versus formal education.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you have an advanced degree. You have a master's degree.
I do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? About employers hiring more for skill versus education?
I think that's so true. In fact, it's frustrating at times, right? So I feel like in general, at least in America, we are taught from kids like, this is what you do. You get as best grades you can in high school, get an advanced degree into college, get another advanced degree, and then boom, you're going to have this, this 8-figure job. Like you, this is what you're thinking, right? So then you do the things like, okay, I have to have this, I have to have this, I have to have this. And then you're 25 years old with all these degrees and no one will hire you. And you're like, but you told me if I did this and this and this and I have debt up to here.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to get all the things that you said I had to get so I could get a job. And now I'm like I have a job, but I might as well not. I'm making so little money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's because at the end of the day, the employer wants to know you've had the experience to be able to take on this problem.
Yeah.
And we haven't.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like you have the degree, but you haven't put it into practice. So it's important to have both. And so now, like, the longer you're in the workforce, you start to, gain that experience that you can speak to get, higher level roles, whatever it is that you're looking for. But when you're fresh out of school, some of these kids are going to be graduating like at 23 years old with master's degrees. Like, that's how advanced it's getting.
Yeah.
But they don't have the actual like experience in the workforce that may or may not make them hireable. So, it's one of these catch-22s. We're more educated than we've ever been, but at the same time, do we have the skills to go in there and do the job well? Probably not. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to do it, right? Your ability to grit through school and get all those degrees shows that you're likely going to be able to do it. But a lot of times hiring managers want to know someone has done it and not has potential to do it.
That's right.
So, it gets to be catch-22.
I think that 100% is correct, especially because, like, we learn differently now. It's like 2025. We're halfway through 2025, and like all the information's out there. I had a client a couple years ago, and she was an executive admin. She had a couple years experience as an executive admin. Our first meeting, she's telling me, "Oh, I'm about to graduate with my master's." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Like, what are you planning on doing?" And she goes, "Well, I plan on continuing to be an executive admin." And I'm like, "Why are you getting your master's degree?" She goes, "Well, it will make me more marketable." And I'm like, "Why do you think that?" It's like kind of what you were saying. The idea was, "Oh, I have a master's degree, and now here we are, and I'm getting hired." But that's the other part of that is like, whether they want to admit it or not, it's 100% true, which is recruiters and hiring managers, they see people with advanced degrees, and they think, "Oh my gosh, they're probably going to want," you said, an 8-figure salary.
Yeah,
right?
Why not?
They're going to want at least $125K, and we're only paying like 80, and they automatically get knocked out before.
Right.
Or even like I was telling a client who has an advanced degree, and I'm like, you need to look at the job description, the things that you're applying to. Because if it says bachelor's preferred, it means you don't even have to have any degree.
Right.
And if you have the master's listed on your resume, you're actually now hurting yourself.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I do think for sure if you have, like, the ideal candidate probably has some sort of advanced degree if it's necessary. Some jobs is just not necessary, to your point. But if you have the skills and the experience to speak to, like, how I have seen a similar challenge to what you just described, and here's how I solved that challenge, and here was the results or the impact on the company. If you can speak to that speaks volumes above what someone's reading on your resume.
Yeah, of course. Sean said, Upline LLC is phenomenal as the next level in ATS platforms. Have not heard of that, Sean, so thank you for that. I'm going to have to go do some research on that. You're right, though, right? But especially when it comes to the resume, because everybody's pretty much the same on paper, barring a few years of experience. And also, too, like, I've been I've been following JT O'Donnell forever on LinkedIn, but she's popping up in my feed a lot more, and she's talking about how, like, resumes are pretty much dead. And the reason is, what's happening is everybody's running their resume through AI. And that means the recruiter is seeing besides somebody's name, the exact same resume over and over and over and over again, instead of something new.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the kicker. Like, AI can be great. ChatGPT can be great to judge up what you have, but you still have to have that level, that baseline creativity and thoughtfulness to put it together yourself, and then throw it in there to make it sound, I don't know, to just be more well-rounded, right? Yeah. But you still have to get in there from the ground floor and type up your own stuff and really speak to your experience and just be authentic in your writing. And then AI, it's supposed to be a tool just to enhance what you already have. I think of it as makeup, right? Yes, we already have a beautiful face when you wake up in the morning, and makeup is just supposed to enhance, not completely change and make you look like a different person, right? I know you wouldn't understand this because you don't.
I just look good in general. Like,
you wouldn't
Ashley, I don't need.
You wouldn't understand.
I don't need any makeup. I already am damn good looking.
See, you wouldn't understand. But people like me, you just put on just a little, just to enhance, right? That's how I think about AI. Like, just use it to enhance your canvas, right? But you need to put the groundwork into your resume.
Let's talk about video interviewing for a minute.
Okay.
Because video interviewing is a whole other beast. I think the one thing that you want to make sure to do is check your background. You don't want to be lit from the back.
Okay.
Because you will end up looking like kind of a shadowy figure, like you're in witness protection and about to give testimony to the court, right? Like that's how you will come off. Also, you want to make sure that everything in your background is pretty neutral. Yeah. I think a little bit of flair is fine, like a picture or something on the wall, but like you want to make sure that there's nothing back there that is too distracting. Yeah. I remember we had, months ago, we had Jim Warner on. Jim's part of my interview team, and he's a volunteer here at JFS. Jim used to own a staffing agency.
Okay.
He had presented this client to the candidate to this client. They had a video interview, and it ended in like about 2 minutes. And Jim was like, "What is happening? What when he got the feedback from his client, the candidate in the background on the shelf had I know, look on your face, had a bong up there.
Oh no!
Yeah. And the employer's like saw it and was like, "Nope," and just said, "Okay, thank you," and just ended the meeting. Right?
Yeah.
Like you got to know what's back behind you.
You gotta look
and
around.
pay attention to your surroundings. I think camera angle is also like you should be like arm's length away from the camera. Because anything closer than that, and you're like up in my face. Anything farther than that, and you could be appearing disinterested.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I also think it's worth noting to still dress professionally for your video interviews. Because I've had plenty of hiring managers. I used to work for a company that put on like AV. They were an AV company, so they put on like different productions for different hotels. And one hotel in particular, the Broadmoor in Colorado, very upscale hotel, like I think it's 5-star, 5 diamond is how they are marketed. And so with any of their roles, any role, whether it's an entry level role or just like a chief role, I always had my interviews with them, even if it was the first one. It was never a phone screen. It was always a video interview. And in preparation for that, I always said, please be sure to dress business casual or whatever, that I knew the marketing standards were at the hotel. Because it's like if you need to know from the very beginning that this is the expectation. This is a 5-star, 5 diamond. This is how they expect their employees to be. So even if I see you the first time I meet you on video, I have to look at like, how did you prepare for this interview, even physically?
Yeah.
And not to mention the background, but physically, how did you present yourself? Because if you don't do it well here in the first entry point with me, then it's going to be hard for you to make that adjustment when you go there. So again, it's about mutual fit. Because if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, if you want to just, AV is very kind of, it can be like an easygoing industry. So if you're not in it to like, I didn't want to like dress up and all that, it's like, that's fine. This may not be the right hotel for you. I might have a position at a different hotel that is a little bit more casual, but at this one, you got to be kind of like suited and booted, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to, even for the recruiter, to share that ahead of your virtual calls, in my opinion, to set you up for success.
I think like even though it's a video interview, I think dressing as if you were going out into the world, and doing it in person is the way to go. And I'm talking like even down to like your shoes, because like, and I always joke, it's like, hey, if you're going to do a video interview, make sure you're wearing pants, right? But like, make sure like if you're suited up, make sure you got the bottom half of your suit and your shoes on too. Yeah. It's more of a mental thing than anything else.
So then you feel like, oh, I'm really in the moment.
That's right. And job search, and especially interviewing, is a mindset game. If you don't have the right mindset going into it, it's just not going to work at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's okay to have notes when you're doing video interviews, but you cannot be like just and reading your notes, right? I had a client, and one of the things that I had suggested she do was get like note cards and write like whatever for the story, and then tape them alongside of the side of the thing. That way, she asked the question, just kind of look over, and then that's story number 3, and then she.
That's a great suggestion.
Would know. Right?
Yeah.
But I have seen people too, like go and do interviews and virtual interviews, and they're asked a question, and they're like, "Well," and they're just like trying to shuffle paper and figure it out, and that's just not really going to work.
Yeah, again, just speak to your experience, your lived experience, and when you rely on that, I feel like you are less reliant on notes.
Okay, so real quick, Robin said, sadly, I've had a couple of video interviews where the person interviewing me would not get on camera, but I needed to. Yeah, I don't like that at all. If you're going to do a video interview, show up and turn the video on.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like I have and Jim Williams popped in and said that he agreed. And Jim, I think you said something else, but Jim also said some jobs a degree is not necessary, but it's a requirement to apply. That does happen sometimes. Yes, that's like if I have a client and they're like, "Oh, I can't get my video to work. It's not working." I'm like, "Okay, then I'm going to suggest that we end the call, and I will call you on the phone, because just for me, it's awkward if I'm on video and I see nothing but a black box with your name at the bottom. Like, why are we even having this conversation on this platform if this isn't going to work? That's not going to work at all. That's not cool." Right? Also, too, I think it's important to have good eye contact. To say, make sure you have good eye contact, and in the interview. But like, it's a video, so like, where are you supposed to look? At the camera.
At the camera.
Look at the camera. Mitch, who used to work here, he was our lead. He was retired after working here 27 years. He suggested, and I think this is brilliant, get a little Lego guy. A little minifig. They're light. They're super light. And you can just tape it right above the camera. That way you have somebody to talk to on the video. You got your little Lego guy.
That's fair. Okay. Right? Yeah, good suggestion.
During the interview, it's a good idea to make sure that you are showing that you are adaptable and updated on technology. I read an article a few months back that said 34% of hiring managers will be asking candidates, how do you use AI? 34% does not seem like a lot, but I'm sure that as time goes on, that number will increase. And I don't really care what the answer is going to be. You have to come up with something to tell them and how you use AI.
Yeah. And that's a good question, because if employees are asking that, it could be for one, maybe they're a super like high tech company and they use AI as a part of their regular day. Or it could be a company who's like wanting to use it but unsure, and so they're really just kind of putting out a feeler to see like, well, how have you used it? Like, this is a role we're hiring for. We think that there's potential to use AI in this capacity. How have you used it? And so if you can speak to that, that could like get them excited about seeing you in that role and building that out. So that could be a really interesting question if you're prepared for it. So that's good.
Well, and that's you should be prepared for it. Right. You come up with something.
You're prepared for it.
If 34% of people are going to be asking that question, you should come up with some kind of answer. I don't care if it's I had it run potential interview questions and practicing and preparing for this interview. Or, the other day I had it draw me a picture of a T-Rex spitting lightning.
That's going to be an interesting story as to why, but it's great.
I actually had it do that. That's because our son, we call him, his name is Tony, but his nickname has been T-Rex since he was little. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that. Yeah. So I had it draw me a picture of a T-Rex spitting lightning, and it was pretty cool. Oh. Y'all, don't be afraid of AI. Get in there and mess around with it. You can't break it. And you can do crazy stuff. So again, all the notes, all the talking points, I used AI to create it, right? I think it's important to make sure that you close the interview properly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you have to let the person know that you do want to work there. If everything's going well and you actually do want to work there.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. I think usually I end the interviews with, like as the interviewer, I usually end it to say like, thank you for your time. I enjoy learning about you today, which 9 times out of 10 is the absolute truth.
That one is like, I am hating this interview.
And then I always ask, like, what questions do you have for me? And I really do expect to hear something because, like, I've just engaged with this person for anywhere from, like, 15 to 30 minutes. So, like, we really took out time to get to know a piece of one another. So, like, I genuinely anticipate that they will have, like, some sort of question, even if it's, like, what are the next steps? Or, like, I had one person ask, like, I could tell that they had been on my LinkedIn. They were like, I see that you recently started at a Jewish Family Service of Dallas. Like, what made you come to the role? And it's like, oh, that's great. So I saw that they had done research, right, on me, the recruiter, and so we were able to talk through that. And that gave them more insight into like why I made the change and what I'm enjoying about the organization, which could have been a great selling point for them to get even more excited about the role. So I think that was a great way to close the loop there. As the person who has interviewed, I think I'm trying to, like, even here, I think one of my final interviews, I had many interview rounds, but I think, in all of them, I just ended with saying, like, thank you for your time and for taking the time to consider me and to take time out of your day to interview me, because that's important. Like, we can't give back time. That's like our most valuable asset. So if someone takes out time to speak with you, even if it's for 30 minutes, they saw potential, and maybe it's not the best fit, but they saw potential, and I'm very appreciative of that. So I think closing the loop in a positive way, whether you get the job or not, it's just a best practice, and it'll always come back around.
Why did you sign on here?
Well, I knew Jill.
I know Jill recommended you, yes.
Yes, and I had talked to Jill. I know Jill had worked, retired, and then she went back to work. And I'm like, what would make you go back to work? What? And so as she explained what she was doing with JFS, I was like, that's fantastic, right? And so it was something that had just stuck with me. Like, that sounds like a really great organization, right, to be a part of. And then things just aligned where there was a need that I could feel at an organization that I had heard nothing but great things about. And I was like, I think this is time. I need to try this out. So that's what brought me here.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. I like that. I like listening and hearing people's stories, which is really all I do all day is I just listen to people's stories and offer advice based on my experience and what I know is working in the market right now for jobs. And job search. And speaking of it's so interesting is Robin, who's in the chat. She's in the chat. Robin has an excellent story, of why it is that she ended up here as case manager and like what her background was. And we were talking. She came to hang out and talk with me. Last week, and we got to have a conversation. I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting, right? Like it's just always, for me, interesting to see what people's background is and how they ended up here.
Yeah, right. I enjoy that too. I really do. I enjoy learning from people. Like, how did you get to this role? Like, what's the story? And there's always a really good story of how we get to where we are. So, yeah.
I think so. Interviewing, follow-up. Follow-up is always important. I think it's a great idea to send an email before close of business that day, thanking them for their time. I think it's a great idea, too, because at some point, something personal will happen, right? You'll click with that person.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you want to lead with the thank you email. Not the, thank you so much for your time today, I appreciate it. That's what everybody does. But if you go and you're like, and you lead with, happy to run into another Texas Rangers fan.
Yeah,
right?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
You bring it back and yes, then do the thanks for your time, and I mentioned it, but like bring it back to that. Again, it's something personal, and it's what it's the feels, how they make them feel.
It's the relationship piece. You're already starting to build relationships, and that'll take you much further than degrees and skills any day. Those relationships. That's why they say network, because it's it's the relationships.
Well, even if you don't get the job, for whatever the reason,
remember you, and I'm like, hey.
That's right, and it's a good idea to follow up in like 4 to 6 weeks, just in case. Like maybe there's growth, maybe the person didn't work out. Maybe nothing happens, but they know somebody else that's hiring for a similar role somewhere else. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes on in the follow-up. And like you said, hey, I've invested my time into this. If you're going to invest 30 minutes, you better be following up in 4 to 6 weeks consistently so that you stay top of mind. Yeah. There's no reason to do any kind of an interview or have even informational interviews if you're not going to bother to follow up.
Yeah, because we want to know you're interested too.
Keep the lead warm, right?
Yeah, and that's on both ends. I think even sometimes like I'll be really excited about a candidate and the hiring manager though is like swamped and they can't get them in for their round of interviews until 2 weeks from Sunday. And it's like, I know this is a great person. I don't want to lose this person. So what can I do to try to keep them warm and keep them engaged so I don't lose them before they finally meet with the hiring manager? Yeah. So it's on both ends.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Ashley, we're about time. Fun question for the day. Do you have any vacation plans for the summer?
Well, let's see. I've had 2 quick vacation weekends, I would say. This past weekend, my husband and I went to Galveston, just a quick weekend. And then this weekend, we're taking another quick trip to Oklahoma City to visit family.
Okay. That sounds good.
What about you?
I'm on vacation next week.
Woo.
And I think we're going to be going to Austin to see some friends. Next week, no live stream next week because I'm on vacation. But the following week, the first bit of August, I will be doing the topic will be what types of content to post on LinkedIn. I talk a lot about posting content on LinkedIn, but the question is like, well, I don't know what to post. I'm going to tell you what to post. I'll tell you the things that you need to do to post content on LinkedIn and how to do it effectively to get noticed because recruiters are on LinkedIn and they are looking for you. So anytime, Ashley, thank you so much for being the guest host for this month of the podcast. I appreciate it. You've been awesome.
Thank you. It's been great. And I was nervous, and you made me feel right at home.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. You did very well. You were a natural, and we're going to have you back sometime in the future.
Okay.
Awesome. In the meantime, guys, I'll see you in 1 week. This is Caffeinate Your Career. Bye.